Good evening, and thank you for joining us. The coronavirus is spreading so rapidly that as we come on the air tonight, the World Health Organization now says more people have been infected in the past 24 hours than at any time since the pandemic began. Think about that. Tonight, the U.S. remains the epicenter of the global crisis, especially in places like California, Texas, and Florida, where at least 50 hospitals now say they are out of ICU beds. But the rapid spread of the virus did not stop the Centers of Disease Control from issuing new guidance for reopening schools today. And what Democrats charge reads more like a political document than public health guidelines. The CDC called for schools to allow for in-person learning, saying children are at low risk of getting sick or spreading the virus. Today, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease doctor, said that guidance was sound, but also said that the country's hardest hit states need to consider halting or walking back their reopening plans. And while Dr. Fauci did not call for the entire country to shut down again, tonight more than 150 scientists are saying the only way to control the spread of the virus is a national order to stay home. Today, Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. said they'll try to control the spread by forcing visitors coming from hotspots to quarantine for 2 weeks. And with unemployment benefits running out for millions of Americans and a federal ban that temporarily stopped landlords from evicting people set to expire, Congress went home for the weekend without agreeing on a plan to extend either benefit. There's a lot of news to get to tonight, and our team of correspondents is covering it all. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez is going to lead off our coverage tonight in Miami Beach. Good evening, Manny.
Good evening, Nora. COVID-19 is currently the third leading cause of death here in Florida, behind only heart disease and cancer. Now mayors in 2 counties are suggesting that people who live in multi-generational families wear a mask even at home.
As more hospital ICUs across Florida fill up, the concern over whether public schools should stay empty grows, leaving some teachers in fear.
I'm scared. All my teacher friends are scared.
Stephanie Miller teaches 2nd grade and is closely watching the CDC's new guidance issued after the president publicly criticized the agency's earlier guidance. The CDC is now stressing the importance of in-person instruction, but encouraging social distancing and keeping the same teachers and students together in groups called pods to contain possible outbreaks. But language like teach and reinforce use of cloth face coverings written in May are now labeled recommendations, and it does not detail when an outbreak should trigger a shutdown. For Miller, it's also about protecting staff from an experience like hers. She contracted the virus in April.
I was on a ventilator for 21 days and came out of it not able to move a muscle. It's like a nightmare come true.
It's not just Texas and California driving the Sunbelt surge. Smaller states along the Gulf Coast like Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana are hotspots too. Today, Dr. Anthony Fauci urged people to follow safety measures.
I think if they strictly adhere to these things, very strictly adhere, it will take a few weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so, to see the downturn.
We're also learning about faulty personal protection supplies sent to some nursing homes in May by FEMA, including useless masks and gowns. Health officials in Colorado confirmed 7 children have contracted a rare syndrome believed to be tied to coronavirus, similar to Kawasaki disease. 2 died. And as the CDC reports, recovery from COVID is slow. Even for young adults as young as 21, we are still seeing the virus's devastating consequences. In Houston, Isaiah and Nathan Garcia lost both their mother and their father, who had underlying health conditions, within 2 weeks.
I didn't get to say goodbye to my mom or my dad now, and that's what hurts me the most right now.
Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Miami.